Hey guys, I'm Samantha and welcome to a new video. This video I'm going over my 5-star books of 2021. Looks like there are about 9 of them in total, so I'll get started from, I believe the way that I had written these down were from the times I had read them, so I'll just get started. The first one is Warcross by Marie Lu. I listened to this as an audiobook and I really enjoyed it. And the narrator of the audiobook really brought the world to life and it made it really exciting, and I flew through this audiobook. I highly recommend it. Number 2 is Smoke Gets in Your Eyes by Caitlin Doughty. I watch her YouTube videos. She has the channel Ask a Mortician, and I am super interested in the topics that she covers on her channel. She really brings to light that death can be scary sometimes, but it's nothing to be afraid of, and she really just has like a dry, like, kind of deadpan humor that matches my humor a bit, so I can totally relate with her. And Smoke Gets in Your Eyes is her memoir of becoming a mortician and how she started as working at a crematory and her experience with that. And just reading it, since I am a big fan of her channel, I could hear her tone in her writing, so I really enjoyed it due to that. And I definitely recommend this as a nonfiction memoir to dip your feet into, especially if you are interested in the death industry. Mocha has the zoomies. Number 3 is Knit Hats with Woolly Wormhead. This is a NetGalley arc I happen to be able to review. Since I am a knitter, Woolly Wormhead is one designer that does a bunch of knit hat patterns that I've done in the past, and she really has real written patterns, so I was happy to get my hands on this and highly recommend it. Book 4 is How to Read Tarot by Adams Media. This is definitely one of the best references I had come across when it comes to learning how to read tarot. It really breaks down, it gives you the picture of the card, what it signifies in upright and reversed position, and how to just interpret it in general, and it is a really easy in a really easy way to understand. A lot of books tend to use a lot of terms that just make it very confusing to learn how to read tarot, but this one really breaks it down super easy. Book 5 is Practical Magic, A Beginner's Guide to Crystals, Horoscopes, Psychics, and Spells by Nikki Vandekar. This was, I think, the second or third witchy book that I happened to pick up and managed to get my hands on a copy. It's definitely, as it says, it is a beginner guide, so this would be a good stepping stone for anyone who is wanting to continue down the path of witchcraft. And the artwork in this book is beautiful. It really breaks down what the Sabbats and stuff like that are. It gives you some parts of like spells and stuff, what to really take in consideration when you're wanting to do spell work and all that. And it also has a small section about tarot as well. And it just really, and it gives you some like the standard 3-card spread and guidance spread, all that stuff. It is a really good resource to have in your library if you're looking for a witchy book. Book 6 is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This is book 1 in Crescent City. I had read this at the beginning of 2021, and I'm excited that going to be reading it for my book club coming up for the month of February and March. Just in time for book 2 to come out. This was the very first Sarah J. Maas that I had read, and it kick-started my reading all of her books. I think I'm still working my way through Throne of Glass, but I am getting so close to finishing up all of her books, and it really jump-started my love of fantasy romance as well. So I highly recommend this, especially with it being a adult fantasy that sets in a modern day setting. It's not like A Court of Thorns and Roses and Throne of Glass, where it's set in kind of I wouldn't say medieval, but it's still like that early time period with flowy dresses and things like that, and it combines a bunch of different paranormal things into one. I highly recommend it. Book 7 is Malice by Heather Wells. This is a Sleeping Beauty retelling told from the villain's point of view, and it is a sapphic retelling. It is such a good book. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time reading this. I highly recommend this one if you are into fairy tale retellings and want a different point of view. I would rank this up towards Gregory Maguire style of retelling, since he tends to focus on like the villain's point of views with his retellings. She did such a good job of doing the Bad Fairy type of retelling for Sleeping Beauty. It's not necessarily like Maleficent type vibes, but she is close to that, but I highly recommend it. It's such a good book. It's hard to really explain my love of this book since it's been a while, but I just remember being so riveted with the story that I just did not want to put it down, and I read it pretty quickly from my remembrance. And book 8 and 9 is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout and The Crowd of Gilded Bones. From Blood and Ash is the first of the series, and The Crown of Gilded Bones is the third in the series of the From Blood and Ash. And both of these, I would liken them to kind of Sarah J. Maas level of writing. I do believe she has used Sarah's works as inspiration of the way that she wrote up these novels, but it's definitely I've got the same vibe from it, and it is a slow building fantasy, like epic fantasy type of story with a really spicy romance in it. I definitely love it. It's one that I'm itching to get back to as well. But those are my 5-star books for 2021. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what were your 5-star reads for the year. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.